Hi everyone, welcome to our first episode. My name's Armando, and this is.
This is Meika.
So, the goal for this podcast is to teach you about Japanese culture. I, for one, started learning Japanese in 2014. That was the first time I ever went to Japan. I had a blast, and the only regret I have is not learning Japanese before I went because I was actually stuck hanging out with a bunch of, and not to say anything negative, but other foreigners that spoke English. So I didn't really get the authentic experience while I was there. And so once I got back to the US, I'm from LA, by the way. As you can see, that's my other channel, the LA Explorer. So go subscribe to that if you have time. If you're into cosplay. Yeah, my channel's all about cosplay. Anyways, so enough about that. I started learning Japanese in 2014. Once I got back, I signed up for a Japanese school here in Los Angeles called Fuji School in Little Tokyo. I recommend it for anyone that lives in the LA area. And then eventually, years later, COVID happened, and so they closed the school, and I started taking lessons online. It just so happened that I signed up for a website called Amazing Talker, and I ran into Meika. So now let's hear your side of the story. How did you get involved in Amazing Talker?
Hi, this is Meika, and I'm still a university student in Japan. I'm from Nagasaki, and same as Armando, I was stuck in my room because of the COVID pandemic, and I used to work like a hotel and apparel shop, but I couldn't work because of the pandemic. So I was sitting in my room and wondering like what can I do? Like how can like what should I do? Like I couldn't go to school, I couldn't go to work, or maybe I should start something like online. And then because I was taking a Japanese teacher training course at my university, or maybe like I was thinking like maybe I should start teaching Japanese as like getting experience, and that's how I start Amazing Talker, and me met a wonderful student here.
Yeah, so that's how we originally first started talking and doing classes online. And then eventually, once the pandemic was over and Japan opened up again, I think that was 2021, or was that last year, 2022?
Last year, I
Yeah,
think.
2022, the government announced that they'd be reopening the borders for travel. And I immediately purchased a ticket and I said, hey, I've been taking lessons with Meika for over a year now. So how about we meet in real life? And Meika was actually very open to the idea. I think maybe, I don't know if, okay, so maybe this is one of the first questions I can give you right now. Um, I don't know if it's a sense of naivety or because Japan is such a safe culture, but I feel like an American woman or a Western woman would be a little bit more hesitant to meet a student that they from online. Or maybe I'm just old fashioned. Maybe nowadays it's normal to meet people that you meet on the internet with dating apps and all that. Were you scared at all to meet me for the first time?
So like I would say in Japan it's kind of same as America, like you. So many people say like, oh, like you shouldn't meet someone who you meet online. And then I wouldn't do that. Like if I only text with someone and like saying like, oh, let's meet up, and maybe I wouldn't do that. But at that point, when you came to Japan, we knew each other for over a year, and then it's not only texting, right? We like met, like I saw your face and then talking about like lots of your life and everything, and I felt comfortable. So, but I think it depends on the like student, of course. Like for me, even, but for me, I felt okay meeting you because I thought we knew each other quite a lot.
Yeah, I'm pretty. What's the word I'm looking for? Uh, I don't think I'm very intimidating. I'm a small guy, so always smiling. There's no
Yeah.
reason to be afraid of me. Um, anyways,
That's
So
true.
what was that experience like? Was it weird seeing each other for the first time?
Yeah, I mean, like, I couldn't believe it, like, for a while when you came to Nagasaki.
Yeah.
So he came to Nagasaki, like, not only in Japan, he came to my city, and, like, it was amazing. But yeah, I couldn't beat it for a while
Mm.
that you were here.
Yeah, same here. I was a little nervous because actually, I don't want to say anything too negative, but I met another teacher before I met Meika in a different city, and I won't mention any names, but that experience was super awkward. Just because there's something in Japan. Okay, so this is a one thing I want to. This is one reason why I wanted to start the podcast was to explain to foreigners the subtle things that are in Japanese culture that we might not understand. There's something called hone and tatemae. And hone is your true feelings, and tatemae is like the facade, the wall that you put for everyone to see. And so when I first met this other teacher, it was also very much like, yeah, let's meet up, let's hang out. I was excited. But then when I actually got there, it was super awkward. Like, she wasn't really talking much. They don't really want to speak much English or anything like that. So I was thinking, I don't want to. Let's just leave it at that. I don't want to get into more details, but let's just say I was a little bit hesitant then to meet Meika because I thought, oh man, it's gonna be the same awkward situation. What am I getting myself into? And I was supposed to stay in Nagasaki for I think like a week or maybe even more than that.
Yeah, it was long. Yeah.
Yeah, and the previous teacher was like 3 days I was supposed to stay in that city. So I was like, oh crap! If this doesn't work out, then well, at least I have the JR pass. If you're not sure what the JR pass is, that's Japan Rail Pass, which is basically unlimited bullet train rides across the country. So look into the JR Pass if you're coming to Japan. My plan, and no offense or anything, Meika, was like, if this is awkward, I'm just gonna change my plans and I'm gonna jump on the train and I'm gonna go somewhere else. But luckily it wasn't.
Yeah, it didn't happen. I'm happy.
Yeah. Uh-huh. All right, so enough about ourselves. Let's get into the first topic about the discussion, which will be about senpai, kohai, and just school in general. Can you talk a little bit about what that relationship is like? Because I, as a foreigner, have an understanding that your senpai is someone you kind of not idolize, but have almost like a crush on. There's this meme. I don't know if you heard on.
What?
Yeah, I don't know if you heard of this meme. People always say, "Notice me, senpai." And that's because in a lot of anime, there's always this subtle, like, crush that somebody has on their senpai, and they're always trying to impress the senpai. So they say, "Notice me, senpai." I don't know. Is that a
Yeah.
thing in Japan, or is that just a myth?
Kind of, but no, like in general, if you are in a club or maybe like I don't know, like even at school, usually like from junior high, like senpai and kohai, that system just appears. And like if you are first year, of course you're kohai.
Mm.
And from second year, if you are if you are a second year, you can be both. Like third year you're kohai, but for the first year you're senpai, like that.
Mm.
And like if you are in the same school or in the same club, usually you are called, like, for example, for me, Meika senpai, like that. For kohai, there's nothing, but
Just to clear things up, it's only if you're in the same club. It's not, for example, just anyone that's a year older than you, right?
yeah, I mean, like it depends on the relationship as well. If you know the person like from like since you were a kid, maybe you don't call them senpai. But if you meet that person who is older than you, but you meet at school, then maybe you call them nanani senpai. It
Um,
depends.
So it depends on several factors. So, for example, let's say it was your next door neighbor and he was 1 year older than you, and you weren't really friends. He was just your neighbor. And then let's say you met each other, I don't know, somewhere else. Would he be your
Maybe
senpai?
Nani-kun.
Kun? It wouldn't be senpai.
No.
Oh, it has to
But,
be
like-
like a group setting, maybe.
Yeah, but also you can choose. Like you can choose if you want to call the person with senpai or kun-san chan.
Ah. So what would I
But
be?
if you are in the same club, it's always senpai.
Oh, okay, okay. Same club is always senpai. Let's just say, just 1 year older in school. It's your choice to call him senpai or not.
Yeah, pretty much. Maybe like, yeah, 何々さん とか
San.
何々先輩 yeah. But if you use senpai, yeah, I admit it, it sounds like a kind of cool.
Cool.
You know, like,
Ah.
kind of.
Okay. Did you ever have a crush on your senpai?
I think so though, but like, that 何々先輩 めっちゃかっこいい like that. Maybe. Maybe.
And did you
But
try to
I've
impress your
seen-
senpai? Dozo.
Huh?
Dozo. By the
I've-
way, if anyone doesn't know, that means go ahead, please. Dozo.
Yeah. Okay. So I've seen like so many like friends of mine saying like, "Oh, 何々先輩, so cool," like that. So I think it's a thing.
Okay, and so our relationship is a little odd because I'm older than you, but you're my Japanese teacher. So is there a word for student? Because I know for teacher it's sensei. Would you call me anything?
Yeah, but like so at school, teacher usually call the students something like surname and a san.
Oh, they say san, they don't say kun or something like that.
For boys, maybe surname and kun is also okay, but like there is a trend that you cannot call kun-chan or like just name at school. You always need to use san.
Last name, right?
So
Oh, because the last
I'm
name
sure-
takes san, right?
last name plus san, yeah.
Ah, okay. You can't say last name kun or last name chan.
Chan is a bit old, but you can use kun. Like for example, among students, yeah, we use kun, like surname and kun.
All right, and you had said that in Japan it's very popular for people to be in clubs. Like I think in America it's mostly what you would call the jocks. Have you heard of that? What a jock is?
No, what? What is that?
A jock is like kind of like just a really tough, cool person. It's like a stereotype. If you ever watch American movies about high school, there's the nerds and then there's the jocks. The jocks are the football players. They're tall, they're
yeah.
handsome, or the cheerleaders. So over there, it's not like that. It's just like how much percentage of students would you say are in a club?
In junior high, I'm sure more than 90%
Wow.
of the students join.
And is
Then-
it sports?
Sports, arts, like for me, I joined the brass band club for junior high and a baseball club for in high school, but as a manager.
Oh, you were like the water boy. No, I'm just
Yeah, like
Oh, also there's also that stereotype that there's some clubs in the U.S. that are for kind of like nerds. No offense or anything, but it's also band is typically considered like one of the nerd clubs. Yeah, Waterboy.
Band?
Yeah, band is considered like a nerd club. And also there's a movie called Waterboy, and yeah, it's kind of a funny movie, but the guy's also considered like a nerd. And it's not it's not like a shot at you or anything like that. It's just I'm wondering, is that stereotype also in Japan where like the cool kids do sports and the not so cool kids do other things?
Yeah, I mean, like we have kind of similar idea. Like if you join like a sport club, yeah, maybe you more likely to be cool because you know in sports day you can like you know like
You can show off your
yeah.
physique
Yeah.
or whatever.
But like for girls, yeah, both. I feel like you know there are so many schools that has like very good popular brass band club. And in that case, those students who are in the brass band club might be cool because you have a performance, right? And I remember when I was in like junior high, like when we did the performance at school, everyone was like waving hands and like that. So yeah, not really like a nerd thing.
Yeah, actually, that's one thing I really like about Japanese culture is almost whatever you do, if you do it well, you're respected. That's one thing I always notice. Like, there's this show, I'm sure you've heard of it. They don't air it anymore, but it was called Terrace House. And I remember in Terrace House, if there was ever a member that just was what we would call himajin, or well, what Japanese would call himajin, and if you could explain what himajin means.
It's just people who do nothing, like free all the time.
Yeah, so like a lazy person, or so if they were like that, if they just like hung around the house all day not doing much. Oh, by the way, it's a reality show, kind of like I don't know, just like Big Brother, where there was 3 guys and 3 girls living in a share house, but they actually were allowed to leave and they had their own lives, and then they would just all come back home at night to like have dinner or whatever together. And anyways, if there was someone that wasn't really doing anything career oriented, then they would actually have some sort of intervention where people would sit down with them and they'd be like, hey, you said you wanted to be an actor, but I never see you auditioning. You don't even have an agent. Like, what do you... And then if it was the opposite, if there was someone in the house that was like, oh, I'm going for my master's in this subject, and I'm also like doing research for this institution, everyone was like, oh, he's so cool. So I do think that's something in Japanese culture that is very different from the US. Even if you're like, I don't know, you want to open a ramen shop or something, everyone will applaud you for it if you're really putting an effort to it, right?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, so anyway, so it's not so much about what you're doing it's just that you're actually putting an effort to what you're doing.
Yeah, like if you used to do nothing, not much, and then you start doing it, maybe you're likely to be like praised because of the gap, because you put so much effort in like doing something. So yeah, I think so.
Okay, and I wanted to ask another question since we're on the topic about school. I've seen videos on the internet where like kindergarteners or first graders, they're shown cleaning up, like wiping the floors down and stuff. Is that real or common?
It is real. It is real. I'm not sure about kindergarten. Maybe it depends on the kindergarten. But in elementary school, you are supposed to clean. But we have like first period, second period, and maybe usually after lunch or after like all the school, all the classes, you have cleaning time. And then you like, there's so many like places, right? Like classroom, but what else? Like, I don't know, science room, like just everywhere. There are usually like 6 or 7 places that each class needs to clean. And then like maybe like in a in a cleaning time, everyone goes to the place that they're supposed to clean. And then you just do that. And usually it's every day in elementary school. And junior high school, maybe like 3 times a week, like that. But that's how we learn how to clean up,
I think that's real good. I think we should implement that in the US, because if you guys go to Japan, it's spotless. And in the US, even if there's a trash can, you'll see trash all over the floor around it. And it's like, people, like, put your trash inside the trash can. In Japan, there's like no public trash cans either. Oh yeah, that's another thing I should probably talk about.
Maybe, yeah.
Yeah, if you go to Japan, don't do what I do, and I buy a bunch of disposable stuff from the convenience stores, and I just walk around and like snack on it. And I think that's natural because if you go to a foreign country, you're most likely sightseeing, and you're not. You leave the hotel room in the morning and you don't return until nighttime. So during the day, you buy water bottles or snacks or whatever, and then you're left with all this trash that you don't know what to do with. Uh,
Mm.
and so it's very rare to find a trash can. If you find one, take advantage and whatever you have. So I usually carry a backpack with me. Well, also because I have my camera gear and stuff, and I just shove all this in my backpack. And then when I see a trash can, I just empty and I throw it out in there.
And also, like, like I was surprised when I went to the US. There are so many cleaning people. We don't
Mm,
have that.
mm.
Like, maybe just lack of the work, like, workforce, workforce.
Yeah,
What's
yeah.
called
Just busy work,
workers?
right? No,
Mm.
it's actually not. We really need them. And honestly, I was gonna say one thing, that the fact that um schools make the students clean the school would be very frowned upon, in my opinion, in the US. I mean, not that in my opinion I frown upon it, but my thought is that there would be so many Westerners that would complain and say, my child is not your janitor. My child is not going to school to clean the school. You need to teach them. You need to educate. You don't need to, like, for us it would be like taking advantage, like if almost like if the school was made to give them free labor. And I don't want to get too political or anything, but even prisons, they make the prisoners go out and clean the freeways and things like that. There's a lot of people that are against that. They say, no, that's like slavery. They're in prison, and somebody else, because the prisons here are actually owned by private companies, somebody else is profiting from the work that these prisoners are doing. So even prisoners are thought that they should have more rights than to be made to clean.
Mm.
So if you put like a 5 or 6 year old to clean a school, I think Americans would not like it.
Like, I don't know. I just feel so. I had a friend who used to go to Korean school
Mm,
in elementary school, right? So in my elementary school,
mm,
and he told me, like, in Korea there are like a people for cleaning, and then we
mm,
were like, what? Why don't you clean by yourself?
mm,
Like, why do you have people to clean up?
mm,
So that's kind of like our idea.
mm.
Like, if you stay there, use there, just clean by yourself.
Makes sense,
I
I
think
think.
that's mm,
Yeah. It's more of like a self responsibility. Like you can do it.
yeah. And also, like, but you don't want to clean up. You don't want to clean up the stuff, right? It's dirty. So, like, usually, because we don't want to do it so long, we kind of have to find a way to do quickly.
Mm,
So I think it's also like helpful. Teachers teach us, like, if you do like this step, it's the fastest. Or,
ah.
and then that's how we learn, like, how to clean, like
Mm,
how to clean,
mm,
And then it's also like, like, I'm not sure about America, but usually, like, you need to clean up your room by yourself, right?
mm,
And it's it's also helpful. Like, how you do it at school is almost the same as like doing it in your place.
mm.
I think it was helpful for me.
Yeah, and one thing that I also found very different in Japan is I've seen children boarding the bus or walking to school by themselves, maybe as small as kindergarten.
Mm.
Tell us a little bit about that. Is that common?
Yeah, for kindergarten, I think it's common to have like a private bus, or
Mm,
like the parents can take them to like the kindergarten. But from elementary school to high school and uni, of course, but it's very common that parents cannot drive them to school, and they need to walk to school by themselves. And like, I think part of it is because to like avoid the traffic jump.
Mm.
If everyone goes to school, Japanese school are usually small, not that big. So if everyone goes to school by cars, that's gonna be a problem. And schools don't like that. So usually, you walk to school and then walk home from school. But like in elementary school, that's kind of for elementary school kids, that's kind of dangerous, right?
At least in LA, it is. Yeah.
Yeah, like for us, it's not really like strangers like picking them up. It's more like, like car accident or like that.
Oh.
We don't, it's
Yeah.
like kids,
Little
don't
kids.
look around.
Right.
Yeah, so it's very common that you go to school and go back home as a group, especially in kindergarten, like first and second grade. They have like colors, depends on the areas that you live in. And then mine was yellow, and then yellow plus numbers. And then numbers are usually like it depends on the address. So the color is town, numbers are usually like related to address. And then the close numbers and colors, they like gather and then go back home together.
Oh.
So that they can protect each other and they can get close to each other, right?
What do you mean close to each other?
Like
the
can get to
students
know each other.
become the neighbors.
Become friends. Yeah.
Oh yeah, I never thought about it. That part. Yeah. Well, I guess I didn't know that they separated them by neighborhood, but that makes a lot of sense. Yeah.
So that's why, like, on our way home, we say like, oh, let's hang out together, whatever, like close, but like at the park nearby, and we go home and then come back to the park and then we just play.
That's a really good idea. Yeah. There's some neighbors that I have that I just never met, never seen, and I think that's a pretty common experience in the US, just to have like some neighbors that you just never talk to in your whole life.
Yeah, that's why I think it connects to the topic that we talk today. Like if there is a neighborhood that you knew from like since you were kids and like go to junior high, and if you call them senpai or not, like it's weird to call them senpai because you've known them for a long time. More than 6 years, right? Yeah. That's how it is.
And is the Japanese way to say yeah or uh-huh. We would say uh-huh. They say And how do you say no? Can you tell the viewers how you say no? So it's and
and
Yeah. I got confused the first time I heard it as well. So yeah, and also you wanted to implement a Japanese phrase, right? Every episode. Did you think of one?
So this time maybe senpai and kohai.
Okay. And how would you translate that in English?
Junior, senior?
Yeah. Senpai would be your senior, and kohai would be your junior.
But it's kind of different idea. But if I were to translate into English, I would say senior and junior.
All right, so that does it for today's episode. If you liked what you saw, or if you have any suggestions, or if you want to send your own questions, feel free to give us a comment and let us know what you want us to talk about next. That was it for today's episode. Don't forget to subscribe to see more, and yeah, peace out.
Bye.